This is Signature Television Unscripted, your regular public affairs program. Today we are going to look at important issues that affect the nation, our country, Nigeria. But let's start from our backyard here in Enugu, where there has been a controversy on the award of contract by the Enugu state government to Sujimoto Luxury Construction Limited. The contract is for the construction of 22 smart green schools at the cost of over 11 billion naira, awarded to Sujimoto Luxury Construction Company. And midway along the way, there was a controversy. The government said that the contractor ran away with the money, and that the contractor did a shoddy job, so to say, and that efforts to get him to the round table to discuss about the continuation of the contract failed. And we are going to look at not really, we're going to look at the issue concerning the award of contract, because we do know that there is a procedure for the award of contract, whether in at the federal level, state level, and the local government levels. Was that procedure followed in this case? Payment was made. Who authorized the payment? Then we go on again. Natasha case has erupted again. The Senate says Natasha is not ripe to resume. The 6 months suspension given to the lawmaker representing Kogi Central Senatorial District. The 6 months has expired. But the Senate is insisting, that's the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is insisting, that until the appeal court gives judgment on the propriety or not for the suspension of Natasha will not come back to the Senate. But remember, the controversy that Natasha was given a seat, her seat was changed, and she refused to go sit on that seat. And that is the issue that the Senate is holding on. Her suspension was not subject to court order. It was by the Senate. 6 months, and that 6 months has expired. And the Senate is now saying, no, let's wait for the court to decide. Then the back and front, struggle between Dangote Refinery and the Workers' Union, the Pengasin and the Nupeng. Last week they threatened to go on strike, but there was an intervention. Again, they are threatening to go on strike. And what is the issue? The issue is that Dangote Refinery is saying that its workers will not join unions. But the union worker, the oil workers have said, no, your workers must join union. And there are other issues, that we are going to look at this morning. With me in the studio to dissect these issues, Dr. Ukeje. Dr. Ukeje, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Ukeje is an economist, a seasoned economist, and is going to give us insight into the issue of contract award. What is the procedure? And and Mr. Badoka, you have already started laughing before you were introduced.
Yes.
Mr. Badoka, you are welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Chibubani.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so let's start with the issue of Sujimoto Luxury Construction Company Limited, that was awarded a contract to construct 22 smart green schools for the Enugu state, for the good of our children. We know that the governor, Dr. Peter Mba, we know that he's somebody that is interested in education, and that we could see from the fact that in 2024 budget he allocated 30% of that budget to education in 2024. And in 2025, the budget allocation on education was increased to 33%. I will show you that he is interested in uplifting the standard of education. But today we have this controversy. Dr. Keje, what do you make out of this controversy concerning Sujimoto Luxury Construction Company Limited?
Thank you very much. You know, what I would have expected is that the machinery of government, the Commissioner for Information, or the Director of Press of the state government, or the Minister or Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, or the Commissioner for Education should be able to speak. But it doesn't appear that those people are in the know of what is happening. It appears to be between the government now, meaning the governor, and his friend, who he took a state picture with. Remember that what we call contract is actually procurement. You want to procure. When government wants to procure, it has a method. Typically, people who want to engage in procurement with government pre-register. You know, you register with the government and say, I am in this field. You show your bona fides. So when government wants to procure, they advertise and then give maybe first right of refusal to those who have already registered with them. If those people do not have the qualifications to get in that procurement, they can then open it for new people to apply. Of course, the State Executive Council is the final authority, but it is not the first authority. There are clerks, there are engineers in the ministry that will evaluate these things. Even the sites where the project will be executed needs to be tested for soil suitability. But the issue now is that we agreed on X amount, 50% was paid. I know I've been hearing about people in the construction industry, but I've never heard of Sujimoto as a company. I hear of Julius Berger, Kappa and Alberto. So many. Even in Enugu here, you have big firms. FJ Lokoye is in construction. Jane Wanku, you know, in those days. I think there is some something that people do not know. And if there is a disagreement on contract, there are procedures for terminating it. But this one, it looks like there was too much of personal relationship, because from what I have read in the press, if Sujimoto submitted a guarantee from a bank.
Yes, Jais Bank.
Good. From what I know, Jais Bank does not have an office in Enugu. In other words, you need the Ministry of Justice to confirm that what he submitted is really from that bank. It needs to be authenticated, but it doesn't appear to have happened. And if it was part of the requirement, that document should be with the procuring unit, either the Commissioner of the Ministry of Education, yeah, or the Ministry of Infrastructure. And the payment for the job should also be domiciled in the same place. So, but I don't see how there is, you know, it looks like what happens in a motor park. You put your goods in one vehicle, and then you are loaded in another vehicle. It shouldn't happen. Because loaders can carry your bag and put it in one vehicle. Then loaders will also load you in another vehicle. When you get to your destination, they say, "Where are my goods?"
Yes.
Oh, it was loaded in the other vehicle.
Perhaps you are referring to the issue of payment. You know, from what we have read, from what the Enugu State Commissioner for Information, Dr. Malaki Abo, explained, you know, we gathered that there was a bond signed by Sujimoto, a construction company through Jaiz Bank. So Jaiz Bank is the guarantor. But in paying 5.6 billion naira to Sujimoto, the money was not paid into Jaiz Bank, but rather it was paid into
Zenith,
another bank account submitted by Sujimoto, which is not part of the agreement. You understand what I'm saying? How do you see this, how do you see this exercise?
First, I see, like when you started, the interest of the government of Enugu State to promote education, and actually that has shown in their political will to dedicate more money to education. But you do not, because your grandmother reincarnated to life, and then you use food to kill her. Things must be, even in madness, there's procedure. If the sum of 11 billion naira of Enugu people's money is going to get into, is the analogy, if we use simple analogy so people can follow us, I want to use 11 point something billion of Enugu people's money, of over 5 million people, to buy something for them. And I know the huge amount involved. All the procedure, all the dots, all the I's must have dots, all the T's must have the cross. And it must be done accountably, with transparency. It shouldn't be done on what I describe as a sweetheart contract. And a sweetheart contract of such an amount, and when it gets bad, and then that's what has brought us to this. If a bank guarantees such huge amount, a contract, the humongous contract, and then payment is wanting to be done, and it's done in another account, and there was, you know, when money is involved, and such money that can make somebody deny his mother or father, you need to be sure that you look at everybody's eyes and say, let us do it the right way, no cut corners. I think along the line that the Enugu State government or the representative of Enugu government in this has run foul of their own agreement, and they're shooting themselves on the leg. A single individual, imagine, because you are the bigger organization, a single individual is going to get involved in such amount of money. And let's not look at the governor at the point he's operating with his eagerness to get things done and get Enugu developed. We can see the positive results he's achieving. And that's why I use the first analogy. You shouldn't, because of that eagerness and anxiousness, and then undercut yourself by not going through the appropriate channels of doing things. And the money involved is too much. So you can't trust a single individual. If Signature TV want to do business with Mike Obani is an individual. Signature TV is a corporate organization. And knowing that you are dealing with an individual, that's why you should even be more careful. Because if it's a state government to state government, a corporation, a corporate entity to another bigger corporate entity of equal standard, you will take certain things for granted, knowing that at least these are people I know their address. With such an amount of money, and somebody like Dr. KJ said, we're just hearing Sujimoto. It sounded like one name that came from Fuji Island or Japan. Some kind of things that came from one island in Asia. And suddenly, you find such name appearing in the Enugu State, at this level of Enugu State eager for development. And we are telling the people that 5.6 billion that can build another state capital somewhere has gone into an account, and we are talking about whether, talking about both sides, whether you gave me, you did this, and somebody came on the viral video crying, Enugu State government want to oppress me and do, and 5 billion already, 5.6. How much left out of 11 billion? With that alone, you know why I'm saying? With that alone, an individual, which we don't know, he said, there are so many things I pick from what Dr. Ukedi said. Where is the office of Sujimoto in Enugu? Who are the staff? Where is their capital base? And he said, if I no see you, I hold the house or the office, at least hold the chair. I said, if you come back, Minister of Finance, we say, we went to the office of Sujimoto, we didn't say anybody, we collected the seat, so let us auction it. Nothing of that amount of money. I feel a little, I feel miffed to be talking about it. And I think Enugu state government is more than enough to get involved in this kind of. Because my father said, the person who is not of playing with roasters, we always carry chicken dongs on his body or his leg and it's smelling like so. So let the Enugu state government sort themselves out. They fetch the ant-infested firewood and then they invited lizard for a visit. That's all I can say on that.
Honestly, what we are talking about is a huge amount of money. Humongous amount of money. The money is too much. You did say that that money could build another state capital. And, you know, some people have said, look, I mean, the EFCC is after the CEO of Fujimoto Fujimoto Luxury Construction Company. Okay,
luxury is involved.
Yes, the EFCC is, you know, after him. In fact, he's been arrested, he's been grilled, he's been quizzed by the EFCC. But some people are saying that they have never heard that the person who paid the money to Sujimoto was arrested or was squeezed because somebody paid that money. And you know, under which authority did the person who paid the money pay into an account that is not part of the contract? Because if the money had been paid to Jaiz Bank, there would have been a situation where Jaiz Bank has an investment department that goes out to look at how in fact, not just Jaiz Bank, but other banks, the money that is involved, the contract that it involved, what level of work has been done,
so that
they release money accordingly. But in this case, money was paid to an account that was submitted by Fujimoto, which is the company's account, and which is not included in the contract agreement. And for that reason, some people are saying, why not the EFCC go after the person, the officer in Enugu state government who paid out the money? Which authority did they have to pay out that money? I don't know whether we are making sense into.
No, what you are saying is it makes sense. You know, maybe this is come from people who are not people who have not been party to corporate job. We're Signature TV now. You can't come in here without being invited.
Yeah.
You may see the man at the gate. You think that he doesn't look bright. But if you are not invited, he will not open the gate for you.
Definitely.
Because before you come here, he has gotten information that person XYZ will be here by this time. If you come at a time when you are not expected, he will say, are you invited? Hold on, let me find out from production manager. But many people are at the top of government who have never worked even in a pool office where you give somebody a coupon to fill. What they know is that there are transactions in government and they come to chase that transaction. And some of them are business people. So they bring their mentality of trading into the government procedure. And public servants who are properly trained, they consider them bureaucratic, that they keep record. But bureaucracy is about record keeping. If you don't keep record, these kind of things can happen. I think there's a picture we saw here now of the fellow and the governor. Even Julius Biaja, their chairman and chief executive, you hardly see them discussing with president or governors. because they have chief engineers, they have chief financial officers who go for the job. Who is the general manager of that company? Who should be transacting? It's not a matter of, I mean, when you go to Peace, if you want to travel by Peace, I've never seen Mr. Maduka at the Peace Park, and I've been using their vehicle. How can I say, oh, where is Mr. Maduka Onishi of Peace? I want to buy ticket from him. That's not the way business is run. Assuming it is a proper corporation, because it cannot be a one-man business.
And the last thing I want to add to that included the fact that what made actually, you know, there's this proverb of Ezuta Maluke, Oseboku, when some business is done or something, we will go stealing and we'll come back, we could not share well, and there's beginning to bring issue. So many issues came out of this project because we got a video evidences of where people went to location of the blocks molded to be used for 11 point something billion naira, 22 smart schools.
Green schools.
The blocks were made with ordinary sand, no cement. If you touch it, you will just be followed. The construction that were on, people raised the alarm because that could have been buildings that will become mass terror. People were constructing buildings that will carry school children with biscuits. If you see the staircases, all of them broke. There were lines, cracks everywhere. Buildings that had not lasted 2 weeks started falling off. So, if so many things. The gods of the land were against this because things were not done right. That's what I'm being spiritual about it. Because if it was not the issues that started cropping up and people raised the alarm, this thing would have gone the normal way. Nobody will know that Sujimoto does not even exist in anywhere near Enugu. With all the banks, commercial banks we know in Nigeria that could guarantee, because they have their branches anywhere, it was only Jai's Bank that would guarantee such money, 11 point something billion of Enugu state money. Then the man who was talking about it, we don't know, because for some, assuming we want Isim in on a kind of business, we want to patronize our own person, let it be an Enugu indigene. You will know to guarantee such money, you know the family house or the father, you know something that you say, these people, like he mentioned some construction company, this is an new chip from the old block.
Yes.
That they are known for these things. They have inherited from his father who owned a construction company, or he owned it from a father who is an architect, he inherited from a father who worked with the Enugu civil service. Nothing. It's just suddenly from, you didn't know when they knocked. You only know when they open. And now they want to get us in. But I think it's a sub judice. It's a court case now, so they should know how to sort it out. But then, when the foundation is wrong, I think it's biblical. When they say when the foundation is wrong, what can the right people do? The foundation were ab initio totally wrong. Yeah. From the experts who not talk about it. For me, if these are things we are picking together are put together, it doesn't make sense. That 11 point something billion, I'm talking about billion. Mike,
I think the most miserable part of it is that government has a responsibility to grow a state. If you don't know, you go back and check how things were done in the past. If you go to Mbanugo, the road from Mbanugo going to CIC, you will see on your right a concrete company. I think it used to be called Lake Concrete.
Yeah.
That company was set up long before the rural electrification project in Nigeria started, because the government was going to engage in rural electrification. They procured a company that was making concrete poles. Before the East Central State government started procuring, the company was already supplying concrete poles to Ivory Coast, Ghana, Lake Concrete. In other words, if the state government wants to change the format of public schools, it will be doing so in the next 20 years, because 22 or 200 and something, there are more towns in Enugu State than 200 and something. So every town should have a school where close to the children.
No, we are talking about
Good.
260 smart green schools.
You go back.
260.
260. One smart green school in each ward.
You go back
the state
and do backward integration. Provide for concrete block making, standardization, that is standardized. Sharp sand mining. Even go back to Nkalago, because before Nkalago was started manufacturing cement, powdered cement was brought in by Eastern Regional Government and bagged in Port Harcourt.
Yeah,
So,
I remember they used to bring them.
in other words, you can even go to Nkalago, mine limestone, bring them somewhere in Enugu, make them into cement, and say, for the next 40 years, this company will be producing standard cement that meets some standard. This block company, located in different wards, to be producing standard blocks that meet some measure. Go to the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute at Nnewi. You know, you now have started off something. As the government is buying, individuals are buying, you know, the economy is growing. But look at how it has come to, like, you know, it's not good.
Yeah.
And the same man was presented as promising to provide food safety. In what business is actually, is he
into agriculture? That's Sujimoto. Is he into agriculture?
I don't.
It's unfortunate, but if
You know, if you go for interviews on new organization, they will say, "What do you know about our company?" So if Sujimoto exists, almost every Enugu who are digitally compliant will just Google Sujimoto and they will tell you some wonderful things they've done in Japan.
I think, Mike, maybe as a follow-up, if you go around now and you see some, they call it roundabout, but on the roads, you find that the beautification exceeds the road. Anybody who is not familiar with Enugu can run into those, and they're hard. There is an act or law establishing what a road should look like. That the meeting point of several roads must not exceed some size. But the people building it are exceeding the size and narrowing the road. You have a dual carriage single lane way. When you get to that, it becomes single.
You know, you have to drive.
So if you are traveling at night, you can run into it.
Yeah, okay.
And if the harder it is, the more damage it will do to vehicles and the occupants. So I think the people in government, whether they are elected or they elected themselves, they should respect the civil service. There are rules inside that. Even if you don't like these people, tell them to show you the rules.
Okay. Okay, gentlemen, this is a running story, and we do think that the Enugu state government will be able to recover the 5.7 billion naira already paid to Sujimoto. Even though Sujimoto is saying, look, you said you paid me this so much. I have spent 4 billion out of what you said you. So what? But our prayer is that the money be recovered for the good of Enugu people. And like we have said, I mean, the governor should not be deterred because of, you know, these
those are small hiccups.
Hiccups that, you know, he should go on and deliver the 260 smart green schools across the 260 wards in Enugu State. Thank God that the contract, this particular contract, controversial contract had been awarded to another company, and we do hope that before the end of September, the smart green schools will be up and the children will go to school and learn. You know,
they will run smart and green.
Smart and green. Thank you very much. Yeah. So, but then this has taught both the contractors and the government a lesson for due diligence, for procedure to be followed, because I don't think that procedure of you know, bidding for contract, advertising for contract was followed. It was like rub my back, I rub your back kind of a thing, you know. So we do hope that this issue will be settled, and that those involved in the payment will also join Sujimoto in the EFCC net. Yes, let's move on again to Natasha. We now have Natasha's story again. Natasha is coming back. The 6 months, like we said, is over. I mean, you know, when this thing started, we thought it was going to be like the 6 months was like 1 year, you know, but 6 months has come and gone. And, you know, the Senate is saying, no, Natasha, you stay where you are. You are not qualified to re-enter the chambers, the hallowed chambers of the Senate. There is a matter for decision by the Court of Appeal on the propriety or otherwise of the suspension of Natasha. And Mr. Maduka, what do you make out of this? This Senate seems to be heading towards destruction of the democratic values that we have, you know, garnered in the last how many years now? 22, 25 years, 1999 to, you know, I don't see this Senate. I mean, some of the things that this Senate had done, you know, this particular Senate,
the 10th Senate,
you know, the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I think we've never had it before. You know, you suspend this, you suspend that. You say, you know, you approve every bill that comes from the president. You know, so what do you make out of this Natasha's case?
Natasha's issue is coming back to the floor of the hallowed chambers of the distinguished Senate of Federal Republic of Nigeria. And like you said, there are so many things that are calling for attention. We have in the eye of the world what they call gender inclusion. The women should be involved in politics. The studies in the Beijing of the days and come up to these days, up to the point, I don't know how many of them will have 3 senators that are women at the Federal Republic in 2025. I don't know how many exactly. I can pin my numbers on the Federal House of Reps. But put all of them together, we have very small number of women. That's the first issue. The second issue is that the Senate, in their wisdom, felt that Natasha ran foul of the order of the Senate, suspended her, and then gave her 6 months. By the way, I've said in other platforms that 6 months became a term of reference to Nigeria to count. So when you want to suspend a governor, you put 6 months. You want to suspend a senator, you put 6 months. If you want to do other things, 6 months. And like you said, we thought it would be forever. 6 months, before we say 6, the months had gone. And where we are. What other drop off? That's where, when the lawmakers are now seen to be the people who are breaking the law, it calls for a lot of attention, and it brings confusion to some of us who are not lawmakers. And we are wondering, which way do we go? You suspended somebody on a term. Which other term that came up and will go to court is going to be determined separately. Bring the person to court and back to the chambers, and he can attend court. I mean, from Senate chamber to the Court of Appeal or Federal High Court in Abuja, they are driving distance and they are near each other. Why using annoyance to throw away the baby and the bathwater, causing, when you were talking about the issues in Nigeria, the National Assembly should be talking about the distinguished senators. It's only about one young woman who the senatorial district had decided to elect. No controversy. And you have denied the third issue. You denied Kogi
Central.
Is it Central?
Yes, it's Central.
Kogi Central. You denied Kogi Central
representation
from the Nigeria. So you are suspended Kogi Central for 6 months, and it's not enough. You have not considered it that Kogi Central would have been made up of over 2 million people or thereabout. And those people have been denied representation in the central issue of Nigeria. So if anything crop up from there, are you going to go to court and go to put those Kogi Central people, citizens, and say they belong to Nigeria? If something happened and they decide to pay allegiance to anything, like some local governments in the north are paying allegiance to the bandits and terrorists, if Kogi Central decide to plead allegiance to anything beyond the Federal Republic of Nigeria, are you going to go to court to bring them? where you have, by your own National Assembly, distinguished Senate has put them aside as part of Nigeria for 6 months, and you're playing politics with their life. They don't know what has happened in Nigeria in the last 6 months, because the person who come and tell them what's happening at the Senate is suspended, and we're playing games with it. And we have issues. Now, the fourth issue I'm talking about. 83 people were buried yesterday, mass burial in Zamfara or Yobe, killed by bandits. The day before, 2 days before, in Borno, there were over 100 people who were killed, and everybody is reacting. The Senate are not finding such things as point of discourse. Their only major interest is that Natasha should now return. Find it so childish and the meaning.
Petty, so petty.
When you say they are distinguished senators, they are giving me cause to say, if I want to address them, do I still put distinguished, or do I put demeaned?
But distinguished is not in the constitution.
No,
I mean, no, I don't know. Like you say, Excellency, His Excellency, High Excellency, distinguished. These things are not in our constitution. So why address them? You know the meaning of His Excellency, High Excellency. It means that the man, the woman is perfect.
Excellent.
Is God. I mean, and we take relish in addressing people that are, ruining our future. We address them as His Excellency.
So those are issues that are crop up. I think the Senate have used mallet to kill a fly for too long, and it makes, it then brings that doubt. You ask, why should I even use distinguished, which is not constitutional to their name? So it brings that issue. They should look back, because,
nobody has ever addressed the American president as His Excellency.
Okay.
I've never read it anywhere. When you're addressing Trump, the most powerful country in the world, the president of the most powerful country in the world, nobody uses His Excellency. But in Nigeria, His Excellency...
Discussion for another day. Actually, but when you were talking about Natasha coming out, if I've said that thing keep cropping up, and they think, there's a way you use mallet to kill a fly. If you miss the fly, the mallet will not miss you. They should watch it out. Because like they say in Ebola, the Senate have been pursuing, imagine a whole Senate pursuing one little girl.
Fly.
When they are doing that, look at how the woman has been trudging and running and making star. The Senate has made star out of Natasha over come and make me feel good and accusation and all that. And like I use the proverb again, if you are used to playing with the chicken, you always carry the dog. For whatever gave Natasha that confidence to begin to say, I can't sit here, you hate me, you like me, you look at my face, you come to tell me to make you happy. Must be powerful. And they will, in other decent societies, some of the major principal office holders in the Senate would have resigned.
Dr. Okeje, do you think that we have more serious issues that this 10th Senate should be talking about, like Mr. Madoka has just emphasized, rather than, issue of Natasha, come and make me well and all that and all that. I agree with him that there are other important, crucial issues that the Senate ought to be talking about by now, and the Natasha stuff would have ended, more so when the 6 months have come and gone,
Well, I think there are many important issues that should confront Nigeria as a country. For instance, the exchange rate. Yesterday, I think I read a report that the Naira has depreciated because of scarcity of dollars. But those things are not a matter that are being deliberated. The president is having tea in France while the senators are on holiday. But like Chris pointed out, a house is a meeting of constituencies. The most that happens in a parliament is that if you use a foul language, the presiding officer can ask you to withdraw that word. If you refuse, he'll ask the sergeant at arms to walk you out. they can never say you are suspended or expelled. If you go out, you come back. If you are not dressed properly, you can be asked to leave. If you refuse, the sergeant at arms will walk you out. This one you have that the House of Assembly or has their own rules. Their rules should pertain to procedures for doing things inside the house, not membership, because you're already a member. That cannot, nothing like that ever happens. I mean, he talked about the United States. The only people who are ever given an appellation in the US are judges. You say, my honor, your honor, the judge. Every other person is Mr. Trump, Mr. David, and it ends there. Why I say it is that if Nigeria was a nation properly, this kind of thing cannot happen.
Yeah.
But Nigeria is actually a country of many nations. So people within the nation are fighting international war and call it national. In that Kogi Central, that lady is from Igbira. Some people are fighting her. In fact, they wanted to prevent her from contesting the election. Eventually, she won. Now, her being a member of PDP is like a fly in an ointment. They don't like her. We have had an experience in the past. The person who ran for APC in Delta State, I can't remember his name, his father was a judge. He was walked out of the house when Bukola Saraki was Senate president.
I remember. The guy, his father was a judge.
Yes. Yeah. He came back with thugs and collected the mace. The house had to go and collect the mace from somewhere in Abuja Gates. So
not in Ebunike Cave.
Of course. Now
he was already at the gate, so he could have got into Ebunike Cave.
No, he just dropped it there and left. It is nasty. This is not even politics, because politics has to do with ideas. It's a scramble. Because if this lady was like that girl, that other man, I mean, people have a lot of tough guys. If they invaded the National Assembly and carried the Senate president, it's just be news, and the matter will be resolved. But because she's taking it step by step, but that is why a lot of national effort or governmental effort is spent on vanity.
Yeah.
I can tell you for free, if that girl were to go to bed and die of natural or whatever cause, these same people who are pursuing her will use national resources to issue statements that she was an excellent, she challenged the authority. That is what in other words,
she was forthright. She was
courageous.
She was principled
and insisted on her right. And this is what we shall be pursuing in the. So why are you not doing the correct thing now?
Yeah, that brings us, Dr. KJ. I'm sorry to intervene. That brings us to the recent book written by Olusegun Obasanjo, where he described the current members of the National Assembly as the most corrupt, as very corrupt, and irresponsible. I don't know whether you read it.
I've not read the book, but
did you read about Obasanjo's lambast on these National Assembly members?
There are a few things he just said. I think the last I heard him say was viral, that the war may soon break out in Nigeria. That was the last thing.
Yeah.
If what happened in the past is not checked, and it's happening in recent future. Maybe it's linked with a change.
This kind of attitude on the part of distinguished senators.
Well, there's a survey by the National Bureau of Statistics and an international body on perception of Nigerians about governmental institutions.
Yeah.
You need to read it. This one is not one of Obasanjo said or didn't say. About 75% of Nigerians do not agree that the government is being run properly. That is, National Bureau of Statistics is a government agency. An international agency collaborated with it to collect data by interviewing people on their perception. Their perception. This Natasha matter you just talked about, it went before Justice Binta Nyako. She gave a judgment that didn't say anything.
They were trying to interpret the judgment, both the
adjudication. Adjudication.
Senator Kingibe, the woman who raised her voice initially to maybe to stand behind the fellow woman.
When you adjudicate,
was silenced.
When you adjudicate, you give a ruling. But it has become the practice. Look at Supreme Court did the same thing with the Labour Party and PDP. You know, two people have a disagreement. You tell them that this is a family matter. Which family? If the two families are here before you, they couldn't have come to you. So it is, I think it is important to read that survey report. Yeah. Ordinary people in the country, they wrote away the police, wrote away the judiciary. I mean, look at River State. The matter of suspension is in court, and the suspension is almost ended, and they may renew it. The Supreme Court has refused to take a decision on the matter.
Yes, gentlemen, our time is running, and before we go, we should be able to look at we're all in Enugu, and a few days ago, it was difficult for people to go by road because the price of the pump price of fuel was hiked. You know, some people told me that a place where they normally paid 200 naira, they paid 500 naira. This week, I'm talking about this
Yes,
week.
I experienced it myself.
Yeah, several filling stations were shut down. This is as a result of the controversy between Dangote refinery and the oil workers. Dangote refinery is insisting that its workers should not be unionized, that should not join any union. But the oil workers are saying no, they should belong to either Pengasino or the New Peng. What do you make out of this?
Well, I think there's something wrong. I've said in several angles. New Peng has no right to force Dangote to make his workers to belong to their union, because they are a private organization. Until until Dangote becomes a public company, that's when Nupeng can do that. And the Nupeng, why they're saying that, they're doing it on the wrong way, because they want to cough and the whole Nigeria will catch cold. If Nupeng, if we have a so-called in Dangote, then Nupeng can run their own thing, go on strike when they want to go. Why are they forcing Dangote? Why are they insisting on Dangote? It's wrong, and it's wicked and insensitive. Okay. That's all I can say because of time.
Yeah, we're going to end here. We do pray that the crisis be resolved amicably. But the good thing that is happening is that Dangote refinery is about distributing fuel free, to the Phillies. And I think that's part of the problem. That's part of the reason why IPMAN...
I look forward to this. Are you about to see a mouthpiece of Dangote? I hope we don't go to the press and people without lining up at the filling stations.
No. I mean, this is coming from Dangote
logistics. Because they are producing enough. They don't want all these road tankers that are falling up and down to be delaying their export, their consumption. Okay. But it's also part of the crisis of governance in Nigeria. Dangote refinery is located in an export-free zone. In other words, it's like in another country. All this meddling of Nupeng in
this is a very serious issue. I think we should handle that separately.
Yes, we'll talk about that, gentlemen. We'll talk about that when we have by the time we have enough time. Thank you very much for coming. I am always happy when we are three like this. It's been an exciting conversation, and I do hope and believe that we'll make it next time. My name is Mike Obani. Gentlemen, once again, thank you for coming. And our viewers, keep on watching Signature Television. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.